What's up, everybody? Jordan Stewart here from Vover. Thanks so much for tapping into the Vover Original Show. Just a reminder that if you want to drop your opinions about the episode or respond to the host and guests with your voice, go and download the Vover app wherever you get your apps. Vover, voice over everything. Enjoyed the show.
What is going on, you guys? Welcome in to your Vover Thursday NBA show and one. I'm reporting live from sunny New York City. And we're going to dive back into free agency a little bit, update you on what has happened in the last day, and discuss some of these free agents who are still available. In the most recent news, Spencer Dinwiddie is headed to the Washington Wizards on a sign and trade deal, so he will be joining Bradley Beal in the backcourt for Washington. Is set to earn $62 million over the next 3 years in Washington. I would have liked to seen Dinwiddie healthy and back in Brooklyn, but I think this is a great move for him. Obviously, he got a nice little payday considering he's coming off of a fairly major injury. I have sources who have told me that his rehab went incredibly well. He's been ready to go for a while. This is somebody whose ceiling is still pretty high, in my opinion. And so I think that's a nice deal for him. And I'm happy to see Bradley Beal get a little help in the backcourt if he is, in fact, going to stay in Washington. Lou Will, 3-time Sixth Man of the Year, has elected to stay in Atlanta. He will be returning on a 1-year deal worth $5 million. There was talk that Lou Will was maybe being looked at by the Bucks. I could understand if perhaps Lou, after being shocked to be traded off the Clippers and not being happy about leaving there, if he's happy with maybe finishing the career out in Atlanta at home. So I think that makes sense to me. Another guy staying home, Danny Green has decided to stay with the 76ers on a 2-year, $20 million deal. If I'm Danny Green, I'm staying with the Sixers also on a 2-year, $20 million deal. I mean, look, I know every team needs a shooter and Danny Green's a shooter, but no disrespect, $10 million a year feels like a bit of an overpay to me for Danny Green, but Sixers are bringing him back, and we'll see where he goes from there. I don't know how the fan base is going to feel about Danny Green being a Sixer again, as he very clearly stated he's not exactly a fan of that fan base, but Danny Green will be back in Philadelphia next season. Moving on to free agents that are still available, obviously the biggest one is Kawhi Leonard, who has not re-signed with the Los Angeles Clippers. He declined his $36 million player option, and I'm not sure anybody knows what is going on with Kawhi. I feel like how many times have we seen this? You know, he's the quiet guy. He seems like he doesn't bother anybody, etc. But we watched what he did in San Antonio. Then in Toronto, he leaves and comes to the Clippers. Now he's declining a player option with the Clippers. And I have to say, this might be the first time I ever agreed with Kendrick Perkins, but he said something the other day about throwing rocks and hiding your hands. And at some point, just because Kawhi is quiet and likable and really good, when do we hold him accountable for continuing to kind of do this, mess with organizations, mess with franchises, be a little non-committal? I mean, I feel like he gets far less criticism than most of these guys who make their decisions how they want to make them because he's quiet and not on digital and not on social and keeps to himself. But at the end of the day, like, what are you trying to do? Where are you trying to go? What's the next move? What do you want? What do you need? Here we are in this darkness that is Kawhi free agency, and I'm not sure anybody has any intel into where Kawhi is looking or what he's thinking or what he's looking for. So this will be interesting to see develop. I don't know. I'd love to say I see him back in Los Angeles with the Clippers, but that's based on literally nothing. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Other big names still on the board include Lauri Markkanen, Reggie Jackson, Dennis Schroder, and Kelly Oubre Jr. I'm hearing that Lauri Markkanen and Kelly Oubre Jr. hit the market expecting a little higher value than they are demanding, and so the market is drying up a little bit. Look, Markkanen's a stretch big with size and a good skill set, and Kelly Oubre can shoot the ball. I think both of them will find homes. As you know, if you can stretch the floor, there's a home for you. I think the most appealing name on the board is Reggie Jackson. I'm truly surprised he's not signed at this point. After seeing what he did with the Clippers and seeing the way he fit in last year, I'm actually surprised he's not re-signed with the Clippers. But I think this is the hottest name on the board. I think Reggie Jackson has grown as a player. I think last year gave him that playoff experience. And we'll see what happens there. I think at one point he was seeing interest from the Pelicans, the Celtics, the Knicks, but Reggie Jackson's still on the board. I'm sure we'll see him go today. And then there's Dennis Schroder. I don't know. Dennis Schroder at some point said he was expecting a max deal. It seems like maybe he also came to the market with a little bit higher expectations than what was going to happen. So those are some names to watch out for as free agency wraps up and we get into trading. We'll see who hits this trading block. I know there's still big names that people are wondering if they'll stay put, including Dame Lillard, Bradley Beal, people like that. These next couple of weeks are going to be interesting. We have a lot of activity. Summer League kicking off this weekend in Vegas. So we'll see these teams continue to make moves going into this next couple of weeks. This has been your Thursday Vover NBA show. I'm your host, Justine Brown, and we will talk soon.